in Kanban, if this thing is sitting on priority, will you still get it done in any case if it's not a 2 week sprint?
And I know everyone lies on stand up.
No, it's not
Yes, you
lying.
have altered the truth of what you're actually doing. KPI stands for key performance indicators, and it's the key numbers used to measure success. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. It is your favorite tech sisters, a platform where we aim to empower, motivate, and share meaningful stories one episode at a time. I am Nomfundo Ndala, and you already know I go with my co-host.
Hi, everyone. I am Tobeka Shabalala.
Welcome. Welcome back. I'm excited to have another episode. So today, yes, it's just the two of us. I know we haven't had this in a long time. You missed us. We missed you too. I know. So don't worry. So today we will be going through some of the things that become very tricky sometimes to navigate corporate. Like one of the easiest things that can, make this journey, this corporate journey to be a little bit difficult is the jargon. The things that people say and you're just like, what are they even talking about? So we will be talking a little bit about that. I've been in meetings where I'm like, what was that word?
Yes.
And I think at some point I felt like I don't know English enough.
I think as well, like we were talking in the week about imposter syndrome again, our favorite topic. So sometimes someone once said, I think in a tech meetup, that the reason sometimes people feel like they can't be either in corporate or tech is because of these words that we keep using.
Yep.
But we are here to dissect them for you so that you know next time you hear something in a meeting, so that you also feel like you actually belong in the place because you know what they're talking about. You're not lost.
Of course.
And feel like, I don't belong here. It's not my type of language.
Shall we get into it?
Let's do so. So this is my favorite one because people say it a lot. It's low-hanging fruit.
Okay. How would they use it?
So how you use it? Firstly, let me explain what it means, right?
Okay.
It means the easiest task or wins to achieve first. All right?
The easiest task. Okay.
So generally, people will be like discussing different things that we need to do as a team or whatever. And maybe someone wants to do tackle it a difficult way or start with the most hardest one. And then someone will be like, no, I feel like such and such a task is the low-hanging fruit. So let's tackle that. And then we can get on to the other meaty stuff.
But then that's just the thing. Like, why don't you say, let's start with the easiest one first?
Yeah.
Why are we doing...
Or start with the quick wins. I think quick wins is English enough,
exactly.
I don't know.
Low hanging, and I've hardly ever heard people use that, but I would have been confused because like,
heard
which one is the low hanging?
Are we talking mango or orange?
Which one? Because I wouldn't understand if like you're talking about like what do you mean? And just say it in English, please.
Well, it's English, but in the context that we are using it. For example, in tech, let's do the low hanging fruit. Like,
okay,
why don't we just say maybe
let's do that one,
the easiest task first?
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah.
But anyways, another one. I think oh my gosh, I use this one a lot.
Okay.
And if anyone maybe has felt intimidated by stuff that I say, look, I learned them here.
And
okay, I learned them when the people were saying them, and I say, so I still need to do a certain task. So I need to touch base with XYZ. I need to touch base with XYZ.
What are you touching?
Yeah, it's just like, so I used to hear people say touch base. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm missing this. So I still need to touch base with Tobega to discuss maybe a certain task. So it just means I need to check in with Tobega or chat to her, like have a quick chat.
All right.
So it's, because I feel like it's not difficult.
So why don't you just say?
Because I heard them
I'm going to talk to Tobeka about something and then about such and such a thing and then get back to you.
If you find people dancing, you're just gonna stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also this one, it's a favorite. Let's circle back.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, but actually it makes sense. We were here. Now we'll circle back and come back. We'll come back to it.
Why are we circling?
Circle back.
So it means return to the topic later. Let's.
So
Why don't we finish
why not
now?
don't you finish it now? Be-
Why don't we finish now?
I
Like,
don't
why are
know.
we circling back?
No,
Also,
because let's
when-
focus on other things.
I wonder where these words
Come
who
from.
came up.
I
with
thought
it?
about them. I was like, I wonder who created these words. Like, who decided?
I think that's our next one. Who decided to circle back? Like,
And then another one would be ping me. But I think that's a very social one. People used to use it on, you remember BBM days? Was it BBM, Blackberry Messenger?
yes,
Yes,
BBM.
BBM. There was a thing where they called ping me or something. So I think it made
So
it
why are we using it in corporate?
a good question, wrong person. Good question, wrong person.
Well, and also, why don't we say just send me a text or something like that?
I remember I got confused. This one guy sent me a message and he said, I'll send you a PM. Ne?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is a PM? What's a PM? So like I asked a couple of people because I didn't want to text him what's a PM. I asked a couple of people like, what is a PM? What's a PM?
I heard an interesting one this week. That's also like an abbreviation. I know I don't think I have it on my list. What is it? AFK.
Away from keyboard.
I was like, there's this guy, he uses it a lot.
I'll be AFK.
I'm like, guys, I know I'm acting normal, but what does this mean? Because
I'm tired of
and now
pretending.
yes, and he's not the only one using it. Now I'm seeing someone else using it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it started with this guy. So what does it mean?
I remember like there was a group of there's a team I used to work with, but they were like overseas, right, from Prague. So they used to be like away from keyboard a lot. So they'd say I'll be AFK. And then another one, I thought maybe it was a Prague thing, something they do.
But also, why aren't you just saying
Away
from
from the
my keyboard, or
I'm stepping away.
stepping away, or I'm stepping out? What
know.
happened to those words?
And you know, another thing I'm realizing is social media has gone back to like abbreviating words.
Yes.
I'm struggling. I know I'm a Gen Z, but I'm struggling. Hey, can we write things in full? I thought we had an agreement that we're not doing, like shortening the words does not decrease the data. Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Anyway, moving on to the next one, right? This one, I remembered you. When I heard this one, I thought of you. Take it offline. One day we're in a meeting, guys. We're in a meeting in person, and then someone says, "Let's take it offline," and this one is like, "We are offline."
Because like, what do you mean? Take it offline.
Let's discuss it privately.
Oh.
Or after the meeting.
Because I didn't understand, like, let's take it offline. You say that when we're in a team.
Yes, on Teams.
Like, you say that when we are on Teams, we are face to face, we're having
taking
meeting,
it
you saying
offline?
let's take it offline. Like, did you do your task or no?
No.
It's those people who, okay, sometimes I understand, like, people take things offline if it's going to
For
be
me, honestly, it meant we are on Teams. Okay, for me, it was like we are on Teams and we are in a meeting. And because we're dragging the meeting, let's do it after.
yeah.
But in person, I also was like,
He said, let's take it offline. No, don't use that term offline. Use it online.
Or let's continue the conversation later. Maybe.
Yeah.
Why don't we just say that?
I do get it when we're online and then you are dragging. Maybe like we're supposed to be discussing something short. And also there are people who are not going to benefit from that particular topic. In that sense,
but
you can
person,
like take it offline. But now we're offline. And someone said, let's take it offline. But we're already offline.
We're not.
Where are we taking it now? Like, I don't understand. And then another one is spoke about how, you know, I was, okay, I'm not going to say it because if my colleagues watch this, but being looped in. So loop in, like including someone in the conversation or project, you know. Sometimes you want to be looped in. So it's just like, you know, when you're not like doing anything and you, actually, when you're in a meeting and you see everyone is red and you're just like, are they all in a meeting without me?
Wow.
Loop
You must
me in.
ask them.
Like someone loop me
But
in.
I think as well, if you expect someone to do something and you're not including them in the meeting,
Yeah.
like loop people in. That one I stand for. But still, like where did it come from? Why don't you just say, let's
I
call
wonder.
Unomfundo into the meeting. Just dial you in. Or
I
let's
think maybe
dial them
sometimes
in.
it's like, do you think these terms are coined by someone influential, maybe in the corporate space, maybe a CEO coming up with the
Maybe.
term? Maybe he read somewhere and then he created, and then everyone's like, because everyone would look up to a CEO.
But we don't always have access to a CEO. So Tina,
Maybe
how does it get to
that's the thing.
our level?
He talks to the exec or the members, they talk to the ones, they talk to the ones, and then the ones talk to the ones.
Ah, it's very quick
Because
if it's happening in that way.
imagine if a graduate came up with the term, like no one would use it. But now,
Maybe. I mean, if it makes sense.
but how?
Because
Like,
that's the whole point of
how?
corporate. Be seen, be heard, and whatnot.
Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. So, but anyways, if people don't want to loop you in, you're just getting free salary. Who doesn't want that?
I don't know. That's a topic for another day. But anyway, put a pin in it.
So,
Pause the discussion and revisit it later.
so we are circling back again.
But wait, isn't this rude to say to someone? Like put a pin in it if they're talking in a meeting. Or are we saying
Depends.
are we saying it to the person or are we saying it about what we are discussing?
Depends on the context. Could be that maybe right now it's not as important. We have more.
Sounds rude.
I know can, but sometimes I think it kind of
Like so
depends.
imagine you're having a conversation with someone and they like put a pin in it.
I think if, let's say, maybe I'm talking about an initiative that I want us to start, and then you say let's put, I will be offended because like, are you, so you don't
Even
care?
in a conversation. So imagine we're talking and then like put a pin in it.
Okay, we are kind of circling back when now I want to
Maybe
when.
let's do circle back instead of put a pin in it.
So you find pin in it being weird.
Rude. Rude. It sounds so rude.
And then another one is, have you ever heard someone say bandwidth?
I've heard it in tech terms. In terms
I
of
hate it because I
the
didn't understand.
CPU has bandwidth.
Like, because when someone used to say bandwidth, right? I thought of it in a very technical way, like
like the
CPU,
remember the CPUs and the bandwidth they
exactly.
had and the
And me, I thought like maybe network, because they would use it in a network, like, oh, maybe your network is not, your bandwidth is affected or something.
Yes.
So I used to be so confused when people were just using it in like general terms, bandwidth, and it just means capacity.
So when did we stop using capacity?
I don't know.
I've heard I don't have the capacity to take that
Exactly.
on.
Now,
So when did we stop using capacity?
some people are saying bandwidth. Please don't say bandwidth when you're with me. Because
Capacity
just
makes
say capacity,
sense.
time or capacity to do more work. I do not have the capacity to take on that task.
On this task right now. I can delegate to whoever or. All right, and then this is an interesting one because previously we said you're burning the midnight oil if you're doing. Is it midnight oil? No.
I don't know.
Anyway, boil the ocean.
What?
Try to do too much at once. I've never heard that.
I've never heard anyone say boil the ocean. And please,
yeah,
if
that one
you've
I've
said
never
it,
heard.
stop.
Because it sounds like.
Why would someone boil the ocean even? Like, how do you?
Yeah, thinking about it practically, literally, in
How
its
would
literal
you-
sense. But burn the midnight oil would be people who are also like working over time.
Okay.
And then obviously the burnout happens.
I know the don't take more than you can chew or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Something about the
something like
hand.
that.
My manager used to say that, don't take more than you can chew. And then he would give me more.
Well,
I've never heard anyone say boil the ocean. That would be,
that was my first time seeing it as well.
and that is a weird thing to say. And then scalable. Like, I like the word scalable.
We use it
though.
a lot in
Yeah,
tech.
because something that can grow easily without problems. If you're building an application and say the application must be scalable, or if you
But can it be used can it be used other than in tech?
Yeah, it
like where
can.
you're saying the app or the website is
yeah, maybe we can talk about how the project needs to be scalable. So this
Okay.
means at some point, if we are deciding to add more tasks to the project, it
Okay.
should be easy. It can expand. So if we're saying we're building a
I'm
bicycle,
trying to think of it in a
in a
term that's not technical.
so let's say maybe we're building a bicycle, right?
Mm.
And then at some point, because we are agile,
Okay.
we'll I say agile because I feel like people have
we use the word, but
yeah,
we don't even do it.
yeah, and I think people who know agile practices will maybe like understand that a lot of times people say no, we're being agile, but we're lying
But
because
honestly, we're not.
we are
Or
changing the task 10 times.
Or we choose where we are
Agile, exactly. So maybe if we are saying we're building a bicycle and then at some point later after we've like halfway building the bicycle we're deciding no, let's actually make a car.
Or add more seats to the
Yeah,
bicycle. Okay,
let's convert it to a car because you know let's change this vehicle from bicycle. So then will it be scalable? We made tires big enough that can fit a car now. Kind of.
Okay.
I think.
I get it, but
Yeah.
sort of. And then this one is, I think, is most of an HR term,
Yeah.
culture fit.
Yeah.
So this means that does someone match the company's values and style?
This is when
So
they
are they
don't want
culture
you.
fit? Yes. When they don't want you, they say you don't fit the culture. But do we want people to fit the culture and have photocopies of people? Or do we actually want people who will enhance or bring more to the culture?
We don't want people who will enhance. We say we want people who will enhance. Oh gosh. We say we want people who will enhance the culture and create more diversity, but we don't want anyone to disrupt whatever we have.
Because I get values. Values are set. They are set, and then someone can enhance the space, still using those values, but maybe in their own way, like authenticity.
As long as it does not ruin what we have going on. Because sometimes
we don't like shaking the water.
Yes. Like let's leave things as they are. Don't question things. So sometimes when you question things, because I've been in a situation where like I questioned the company culture and I didn't get the job. Well, and
bad.
They didn't want to say you're not culture fit, but like, because I asked for feedback because I thought it went well.
I think you remember there were times. Okay, you might not remember because you started work COVID times. So there was a time where we went to office all the time, and I think I also was in an interview. I get there, they so dressed down, like
and you used to
proper
be
dressed down. Well, I wasn't. I didn't dress up like suits, but yeah, presentable. But they were super dressed down, and I was also like, so is this how everyone dresses? And I also think that might have it worked negatively because I was so shook. Like t-shirts, jeans, like
good.
the whole company. I know it's like usually like tech.
Yeah.
The whole I was like,
it's giving startup.
How you are? Okay.
I'm joking. But isn't it because like in a lot of like corporate, there are places where they set a standard of this is how you dress. So some companies, as long as you look presentable, they don't mind. So some companies like
presentable, yo.
Because I've seen people in tracksuits at work.
Crocs. Oh, that killed me.
Yeah,
I saw Crocs
it's giving
at work.
tech company at
guys,
its core.
Crocs. Guys, I know. Please.
And wait, people who own Crocs take the Crocs thing to a different
Too
level.
far.
Guys, we understand it's comfortable, but okay, relax.
Oh, it's not at the okay, but again, I was
when
shook when I
they
saw
use
Crocs.
a lot of culture fit stuff when they don't
want
they don't want you, or
when they don't want someone who will,
or sometimes
ruffle
maybe,
the feathers a bit,
or sometimes if they have like a candidate that they've already decided on and that technically you're good, but they don't, or your skills are good, but they don't want you.
Yeah.
They just use that as an excuse. Another one, I used to hear this one a lot when I joined corporate. I was like, "Khulunywa ngani la?" KPIs, like they throw around the word.
And they always use the abbreviation.
Like KPI. KPI stands for key performance indicators, and it's the key numbers used to measure success. That is it. So they say KPI. Your KPI, these are things, objectives that you set beginning of the year.
Across, eh? It spans across. That's why we hear it so much. Whether
Yeah.
it's KPIs for the group or KPIs
For
for the
yourself.
team or for yourself.
Yeah, because there's KPIs for the whole organization that are set. There's KPIs for the team. There's KPIs for department, and KPIs is everywhere because it's not even like a South African term. It's a global
Everywhere.
thing. So
Linked to that, OKRs. They use OKRs
yes,
a lot.
what does OKR stand for?
It's objectives,
Key
keys,
OKR something.
yeah.
And
You
then
see, you see, we're struggling to even, and they use it a lot, and you need to measure yourself against OKRs of the organization, and
yeah, and there's also another one, KYC. Know your colleague, know your customer.
I know it's know your customer, but now they're using it in
And know
lots of terms.
KYC. We're doing a KYC.
Oh, guys.
Because I remember the first time I heard KPI, there was I remember how I didn't take it into mind. The first time I heard KPI was at KPMG. So I thought it was a KPMG thing. You know,
Makes sense.
So I thought, it's a KPMG thing. So when I started hearing it, I'm like, oh, she probably works at KPMG as well.
Yeah,
when
wow.
I heard people talking about it, until I was like, oh,
Everywhere.
kanti nami nginama KPI. I didn't know. So same as like your KYCs, know your customer. I was like, oh, we're doing a KYC. I must know
the
people I'm working with.
Anyway, the other one, this one I love this one because I love learning, upskill. However, sometimes they use it against you, but we'll get them. Learning new skills for your job.
Yeah, I love it too.
I love the word, but sometimes when they don't want to give you the role that you want, it's like, please upskill in this and this.
But how am I going to upskill on something that I'm not? But you know what? I love upskilling.
I love it too because you're keeping abreast with anything or learning new skills.
However, I don't think it makes sense to upskill on something that, for me, let me speak for me. If I am learning, for example, AWS, but I'm not going to use AWS in my team or in my work anytime soon, we all know that you learn and you forget. Let alone you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you forgot how to write an if statement.
Yeah.
So now I must learn a full course of AWS and I'm not going to use it. So I think upskilling for me, and this is why also I hate it when they say upskill first before a certain role, because I'm going to forget by the time I need to start that role. I need to revisit. I need to circle back
to the learning.
To the learning. I need to go back and,
Yeah.
So they use it, yes, when they say, oh, but no, you need to upskill. You don't have the skill. Look, I will learn on the job. And I think
some things, yes.
And I think it's man.
It's unfortunate. It's a lovely word. It's good to upskill.
It
but
is.
Unfortunately, at times, you hear it in those contexts where it's like, we can't give you this because you need to upskill on this. We can't give you this because you need to upskill on this.
Another problem, especially when you already have a full-time job with upskilling, is you don't have enough time. Exactly. You have to do it after hours. So you're upskilling on something that you're not going to work on, but because they said you must upskill, and then they don't even give you the job after you've upskilled.
Yep.
But I think upskilling is good. People should upskill as much as they can. Learn new skills,
especially tech. Don't stop.
Yeah,
don't stop learning.
I really want to upskill, but I think I've become more of a practical than a theoretical person.
Yeah,
because another thing, let's say if I'm preparing for an interview and I can see there's a skill I'm missing here, maybe they're looking for. Let's say.
Okay.
And then I upskill, but then I know it theoretically because then they start asking me questions. I'm like, when I learned this last night before this interview. They're asking me things I can't do. But anyways, let's pivot a little bit. Let's pivot. I like that.
Favorite word.
It's changing direction in business strategy. So let's change the direction. People like a lot of business people use it a lot.
Even
Stakeholders,
around careers, if someone was doing
something
something else
you
and they
pivot.
change, you
Actually,
pivot.
we've said
We've
pivot
said,
a
yeah,
lot.
we've also
I've
used it.
done a lot of career pivoting.
Yes,
So I've changed my strategy to say I don't want to do development
I'll do
anymore.
something else.
I want to do something else. And again, I'm pivoting. I'll tell you guys an update.
On your pivot journey.
Yeah, on my pivot
Actually,
journey.
we must have an episode about your pivoting journey, or a post about it. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll do I'll do an update because how many careers have I had now? 3.
You've had one career in tech, but you've had different roles within tech.
3 different tech roles.
Yes, basically.
And I'm going on my 4th one.
Okay. Let's continue before you tell us about that. Sprint.
Yes.
Where are you running to? Okay. A short time box period to complete a set of work, usually 1 or 2 weeks. For me, it's more of a tech term. I don't know if they've used it in other.
I think they have.
I'm
not sure.
Okay. Yeah, so generally in the tech space, I think we've discussed it when we talk about stand-ups. People who attend stand-ups. There's a 2-week period generally. I'm used to like a 2-week period where we are saying in this 2 weeks, this and this and this and this is what we are focusing on. So I guess it can be used in an organization as well, where you're saying in this 2 weeks, this is our goal and this is what we are finishing. So
do you like sprints?
If done correctly, yes.
Do you think sprints are realistic?
It helps with the direction, or it helps with your focus for because sometimes we can find ourselves doing, what's that word? Boiling the ocean.
Yes.
We can find ourselves boiling the ocean, doing too much. But if you know within these 2 weeks, this is the goal, then sometimes it gives you a nice direction on where or what you're doing. You don't like them, I can tell.
No, I don't know. Because like, for example, now I've been moving my tasks from one sprint to another.
Why are you doing that then?
Because I haven't figured out like how to do it. Because like it's not done. Like,
Then get someone to help you figure it out.
I haven't tried. I don't have a problem with sprint. I think sprint. You remember? Kanban. Kanban doesn't use sprint, right? Okay, Kanban is a friend of sprints. Yes. So sprint is like 2 weeks, but Kanban you don't have like a 2-week set of you need to start this and do this, and there's a different board like a to do, doing, done. Whereas
then you take
so
from the priority.
Yeah, so it's like things are moving like that. I think. Do you think Kanban follows like a waterfall method? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, so
check that.
I prefer Kanban because I'm more of a to-do person and then sketch out what I've done instead of like when I give myself a time frame, because I think sometimes it depends, which is something, it depends on what we are working on. If you and I are working on, we can follow a sprint ceremonies.
A mentality, yes.
But I don't think that you should like check in if it's done in 2 weeks because it won't be done.
But here's the question. You said there's something you keep moving from a 2-week sprint, right? In Kanban, if this thing is sitting on priority, will you still get it done in any case if it's not a 2-week sprint?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know, right? So I think for me, it's either works, but it all needs to be done properly.
I guess.
It all needs to be done properly, because if you've taken into something for a sprint or 2 weeks and you're not finishing it, maybe it needs to be broken down. It's all those things. I guess. Should it be broken down? Should we be doing it in smaller tasks? So
I think the whole point of sprint is to make sure that we have properly broken down tasks into smaller pieces that can be done in 2 weeks.
Yes, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But
so
we
if
miss
you are
it
taking like a lot, I think you're right. I think maybe that's the thing. I think devs cannot properly size things, but I don't blame them because it is not easy. Because sometimes you look at a thing and I'm like, okay, I can do this in 2 weeks. And then you come across an error, you've never seen, you fix that error. It takes a whole 2 weeks to fix that error because it's not even you. It's probably an environment issue. Things are not
But I
matching
guess
up.
that's where, like corporate tech, that's where
Bullying.
the communication, like it touches a whole lot of things. If you're now not finishing something, are you communicating in time to say, listen, I had a bag, therefore I will not complete this whole task in the 2 weeks, but I've broken down into tasks, so I've ticked off 1, 2, and 3, but the rest I can do in the next sprint.
Fair.
So within that story that's supposed to be finished in 2 weeks, if you have a task list, thanks you are task driven. If you have a task list, then work with a task list.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I guess, corporate is complicated.
It is.
Anywho, we said Kanban and framework and agile, Scrum. So we've spoken about Scrum, but we've spoken about Scrum as a career, and we said Scrum Master.
Yeah.
So Scrum is a type of agile framework for working in small teams with short development cycle being sprints, short development cycles. So a Scrum Master would know and perfected and studied and have a certification in Scrum. So they know sprints, they know everything around sprints and how they work and all of those things. So yeah. Scrum, a lot of people follow Scrum.
Yes. So Scrum,
tech, yeah.
Scrum, if you think rugby, they have Scrum, they come together, I don't know what they are doing there, but somehow it's a strategy. They know who's taking the ball next. So in the same concept within corporate, it's like we're coming together, we are dissecting and setting out the capacities, and then we move away with a strategy, knowing good. Okay, 2 weeks you're doing this one. So think about it in that way. If it's in practical terms, or easy to understand.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then there's backlog. The long list. It's a list of tasks or features that need to be done. Backlog is one of those things where some things we forget, we put there, they are always forgotten. But yeah, it's basically the catch-all for everything that people want.
I think everyone in life has a backlog.
Yes.
In general.
Actually.
Like you have to do that laundry to your backlog. You have to clean that. You've been looking at, actually, you need to change those curtains. You put it in your backlog. You think about, I need to change the paint.
Yep.
You put it in your backlog. You think about, I need to go fix my car.
Speaking of that, I've actually met like a Kanban coach who says he actually runs his life, like anything in his life that he does.
Yeah.
He uses sort of like a board.
Wow.
This is to do, and he checks, this is the data, this is how I literally, like he says everything, even running. So for even in his running journey, because obviously we have smartwatches that give us the data, but he goes back and checks, what is this data saying? And therefore I know if I'm going to go up that sort of like a Healy part, I know my data is going to tell me, okay, my heart rate is at this, so I know how much to run it. I'm not competing with someone else because I'm using a data system. And like...
So do you think like that means he has his life in order?
I hope so. But I believe so, because think about it. Because he even says I think he even said with his kids and homework and projects, everything, like do it in this way, have data to prove or to guide you. I'm like,
But also, if you have
I want to try it.
I want to try it. Put it on your backlog.
I'm imagining having a board stuck on my wall for that.
That would be interesting. Like
that would be cool.
That would be cool because like I need to do this in life. Like I'm running.
And there's a concept: stop starting, start finishing.
Yes.
So you start things, you finish. That would be the greatest life.
And like that would be such an organized life. I wish that for myself.
I actually want to try it. It's just that okay, let me stop saying just. We need to try it. Let's think and then try it. And then we'll come back, circle back and tell people how it went.
Must get a board first.
Yeah, we can just get like color, sort of like a big chart.
Will we do it though? Is the
thing. We said we're going to circle back, so we have to hold us to it.
Yeah, we'll do a stand-up every day.
Yeah, we need to do it. Let's try it. I beg you, let's try it.
We'll have a stand-up to give updates. So stand-up is another word.
Yes.
A short daily meeting. Keyword short. Keyword short. keyword short daily. I don't know if it should be daily also, but a short daily meeting to check in with the team on progress. So if we are having a stand up, you are telling me the update on a task for that sprint.
Yes.
So if maybe you have 3 tasks, you're telling me, okay, task number 1, I'm doing this, I'm here. Task number 2, I'm here. Task number 3, I'm here. Or some people use what did you do yesterday? What have you done today? And especially if you have like the meeting later. Let's say you have the meeting because some people have it in the morning. Then
mostly it's morning, 9 a.m. Most people it's 9 a.m.
We used to have ours. I used to have 3 stand-ups because I was in 3 different projects. So I'd have one in the
it was project specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but let's say there was one we would have in the afternoon. So around 3 p.m. So this is going to say like how far I am today. Tomorrow again, how far I am based on that day. And then if you have it in the morning, this is where yesterday, afternoon, before I know
what's your focus today? Yeah. Do you have any blockers?
Yes. Do you have any blockers? What are you
but
doing?
We talk. We don't do it like that.
Yeah, we don't. Because you find someone giving a long update. Like,
and after the update, you haven't heard what they are doing.
Exactly. Like, person has been talking, and then at the end, sometimes and then you're like, I still need to talk to Tobenga. Wow. Every day.
Every day. Oh, yes. Yo, we've had those. Every day. It's like, I'm waiting for this. Okay.
Like,
tomorrow. I'm waiting.
So you've been waiting. So stand-ups we want progress. Like, you can't. And this is why but also as devs. Why do I keep saying as devs? I'm not a dev. But devs.
You're a dev.
As devs, people, like, I know everyone lies on stand-up.
No,
yes,
it's not lying.
You have altered the truth of what you're actually doing.
Not lying.
This is how there were memes about how when you said you are in progress with your task, only to find out that you don't even have access.
You were starting it.
When you're starting, you don't even have access.
I think it's integrity. It depends. Are you a truthful person? Yeah, man. It's difficult. And it's difficult to measure because you have to take them at their word. And for me, if I was your leader, I lead with trust first. So I have to trust that you're telling me the truth. And yes, it will catch up with you. I mean, if by Friday you said you are in progress, and then on Friday you are saying, I actually don't have access, then where was the progress on Wednesday? Now I'm asking you because it caught up with you.
I used to work with an honest guy. Like, he would say, I didn't do anything yesterday.
Say that. Be honest.
And I think people maybe like, at first they laughed at it. I was like, I understand about ha 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 ha. And it's like, I didn't do anything yesterday. Like, it was too cold. I wasn't feeling well. So I just sat in bed the whole day.
And that's the environment you want, actually.
But that's the thing. No one creates that environment because who wants a person who's going to sit in bed all day because it's cold? I want to sit in bed, but work must go on. No one's paying you.
It needs to be safe enough for me to say, you know what?
I
was drained. I needed to sleep.
Take leave.
Yeah, I'll add the leave, but I'm just telling you guys I didn't do anything.
Okay. I kind of get it. But yeah, stand-ups. Some people lie.
Wow, that's your closing remark on stand-up.
Yeah.
All right, there's sprint retrospective. So we talk about this 2-week sprint, and we are saying this is a meeting after the 2 weeks, and we are saying we are discussing what went well, what can be improved. So generally, it's what went well, what didn't go well, what can be improved. Yeah,
I used to hate these.
I used to love them. Now I don't know.
I used to hate them because when my first like interaction of like experience of sprint retrospectives, I just joined corporate, so I didn't know, like, and also I'm a very, very shy person, believe it or not. People who know, I'm shy.
No, I didn't say anything
because I talk to you every day. I'm not shy, so I'm a very, very shy person, and they used to like force us to say something.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Everything went well.
So say that.
no, they like, what can we improve? Nothing. My task went fine. I'm fine. Like, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to speak.
But I think for me, I love retrospectives
Why?
because uh, then you've got a point to improve on, right? The only issue I have is sometimes it's a very, like you're saying, if you are shy and 5 other people are shy, we're probably going to have a 2-minute meeting because only 2 people said something. And that's where, for me, the problem lies. And then only down the line, people are like, actually, this and this didn't go well, but you had a retro
But I didn't think
and you
about it
didn't
then.
use the retro.
But I didn't think about it. And also, why am I being forced to talk in front of 15
You're not
people?
forced to talk. Say, like, just indicate if everything went well, literally write that. Everything went well. It's awesome. Nandi.
Yes.
Say
And then
that.
if I think about it 2 days later, I'm like, but no, man.
Then,
Actually.
then maybe say it. In that stand up is supposed to be short. Find one of the meetings that you have as a team that you can. But don't hold on to something for 5 weeks. And then 5 weeks later, you're like, actually, this didn't go.
Okay. Okay. I think the problem is just me and not
So you're
knowing
still
how to.
shy even now with the retrospectives.
I think it depends. You know what? I am shy
No,
at first. No,
I'm judging you.
no, I am shy at first, ne? And then I take time to adjust. So once I can see that I'm the culture here is open, is I'm free to be open and say and voice my opinion
Okay.
without being forced. Like the moment you force me to say stuff, I won't say anything. But let me at my own pace.
But you know what, ne? Just to maybe for someone who also feels like you're feeling. Sometimes it's not that I'm forcing you. I'm bringing you in. I'm looping you
You're
into
looping me
the
in.
conversation.
I get you.
So, because like you're saying, you didn't speak because you were shy. There's other people who are doing the same, and sometimes I'm saying, Numfundo, what do you think about this? And it's not because I'm saying talk. I'm just saying I'm bringing you into the conversation. Maybe you want to say something, but you are shy.
Okay.
So me calling you will open the floor for you to speak.
So
It's not always.
it's a tricky one because as a shy person, I don't want you to put the spotlight on me.
You don't want to, but trust me, it works in your good in the long run.
I would rather have you speak to me alone.
And what about everyone else? They need to benefit from your
And
point.
then you will tell.
Man. Imagine that whole loop.
You say, oh, I spoke to Nomfundo last week and she said, and I'll be like,
and then kabang, someone is speaking on your behalf, then you will never have a voice.
and we are so old for this, hey? Like, it's corporate. I know, I'm working on it.
Hey, okay. I'll keep that's going on our board.
Yeah, it's on a
way.
backlog. I'm working on it. Now, let's pivot to some technical jargon because we did a little bit of corporate jargon. Now, let's talk about the technical jargon, right? Now, technical debt.
I don't
I
like
used
that
to
word.
think that when people say technical debt, it had to literally do with money. Like
technical though.
I didn't know because like I remember we have
And
my manager saying we had a lot of technical.
love.
I remember manager saying we have a lot of technical debt that we need to sort out, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm getting name down, name Mali. Them, there's execs, they will fix that.
Oh,
Only
how
to
we
find
love
out
this.
everyone has it. It is work that you skipped. That or some work that you skipped long ago, or you like did quickly, and you said I'll come back to it. Like let's say for example, if something needs to work, right? Oh, here's a good one. If you in a project, maybe your code, you put in your because you couldn't configure maybe like a private maybe component where you will have all your passwords, and then you put the password and you expose it in your code. That's technical debt because then you've exposed the password. Yeah, if it goes out and whatever, someone has access to it. And then you're like, we'll come back and do it
But
later.
I have a question because sometimes I feel like the part where it says that we're doing something quickly. Why did we do it quickly in the first place? Why didn't we do it properly in the first place? And like for me, it feels like we do technical dead things on purpose.
Yeah, that's true. We do it on purpose.
Because like do it properly the first time, and trust me, you don't have to come back to it. It doesn't have to be technical debt. Like let's just do things properly. Like that's what I don't like about as
Yeah.
devs, sometimes we're not doing things properly, and we could,
And I think,
honestly.
I think, I think you're right. We do create technical debt on purpose because you could just do it right the first time.
Do it right the
And
first
sometimes,
time.
like doing something quickly it's not even that quickly, because the one thing where like it could take the same amount of time. You creating a component or like a separate
Or adding
function,
comments.
exactly, it would take the same amount of time you did to create that technical debt.
Yeah, if
And then
there's
you
one
say
word
come,
for me.
yeah, like, and then you say we'll
One
come back. And
technical
here's another
term.
thing: you don't come back to it.
Thank you. You don't come back to it, and then what happens is
We
we're creating
live.
another project.
Yes, for technical
Oh,
debt.
guys, dear devs out there, please let's do better.
I love it. I love it so much
Aiyo.
because in my head, like I think I just I love technical debt
Why?
because I have something to look forward to when I'm done with
Ay,
this.
suka.
Because it's just like, okay, let me.
Aye.
Because I feel sometimes though, however, sometimes technical debt is created when you are testing something to see if it works, and it actually works, and then you don't change it. Like, you're like, okay, it works.
It works. Let me not touch it.
Let me not change it. I'll come back to it
Aye,
later.
but we must do better. Anyway, refactor, which is also similar to technical debt because clean up, improve the structure of code without changing how it works.
Yes.
So sometimes we are adding too many for loops instead of just keeping it clean to maybe 5 lines, and then you now need to go and refactor your code. Again, maybe do it properly the first time, then you don't have to come back and refactor your code. But this one I kind of get because sometimes it's like, it's not that you're not doing it properly, but maybe there's a better way of doing it. And at the moment, the business counterparts are like, no, we need this in 2 weeks or whatever. Then you're like, okay, let me do it in a way that I understand. And then I need to come back and make it 2 lines instead of 4 lines, even though the 4 lines do the job and they don't make the system lag or anything like that. It's hard to come back to them though. That's the problem.
It's part of technical debt. However, yeah, you're right. Like refactoring can be a little bit different in terms of this is how you knew how to do it then.
Yes.
And this is where sometimes you, like if maybe your senior reviews your code, or you do like peer reviewing, and then they say, no, there's a more efficient way to do this, a faster way to do this. Maybe, using a for loop is going to take longer, rather use a while loop or whatever the case may be. So yeah,
definitely
that kind of vibe. Right, code freeze. I don't know if every organization has a code freeze, but like there are organizations where monthly they have a code freeze, a freeze period where nothing can go into production, or like, you can't do anything. So a point where no more code changes are allowed before release. So if we are doing a project right now and then we are saying this needs to go live on the 15th of July, 10 July, no one must touch the code.
Yes.
Because it's going to go in release. And if you make changes, we are going to have an experience where now the code is acting funny in front of our clients, or the application is doing things it's not meant to do. Then they freeze. They have a freeze period where you're not meant to be doing anything. Yeah.
All right. So this one we spoke about a bit, scalability. The ability of a system to handle more work as demand increases.
Okay.
So for me, that's why I said I've only heard it in technical jargon because that's how I know it. That's how I know scalability. Like, can you, is it easy to change your application? For example, and I'm bringing a new term. We speak of solid principles where one piece of code can be changed without affecting any other thing. So that means it's scalable enough because then you don't need to break the whole system just to fix one thing. So.
Okay. Another one, CI/CD, continuous improvement, continuous integration, continuous deployment. I think some people use CI, like instead of integration, they say continuous improvement. So this is automating the process of building, testing, and releasing software. So instead of me going to manually push the code and do whatever, like it's CI/CD. Like this is where they set up like pipelines, right? So where after I've tested and maybe I push it to dev and then it goes to UAT and then it goes to a pre-prod and then it goes to
Then
prod and stuff
prod.
like that. So that vibe, it differs per organization, it differs per team on how they have set up their CI/CD pipelines,
Okay.
but it is the best practice, and I urge each and everyone
To
to
use
do
that.
CI/CD because if you are not, you are doing a lot of human intervention, so a lot of things are manual, so a lot of things are going to be prone to errors. Look, I can speak about how I love CI/CD and how I've experienced CI/CD in my team once, and then
And then it changed. Okay. So I'm also going to speak of legacy systems. So
Yes.
that's old software or hardware that is still in use.
For what reason?
For what reason? Again, I think it speaks to the technical debt, refactor, and so forth and so forth. Sometimes we love the system that we know. Better the devil you know than the one you don't. And we just keep using this system, even though it's old, it's using old tech stack, which we'll get to. It's just, yeah.
But I think sometimes people keep on to the legacy systems and the old systems due to the language it was written in. One, for example, like I've been in situations where I'm like, oh, this framework or whatever, this website is ugly, ugly.
Yes.
And being like a new kid in the corporate space, we've experienced like frameworks like Angular that make things really nice, prettier, and your material UI, and like like there's so much you can use, and you're wondering, this is so ugly, why are they keeping this? Sometimes maybe it's like the amount of data it has and whatever. So moving the system is too much. Also, if there are old people in that team, they don't want to move from that system because they know COBOL and they don't want to go and know Angular.
The other stuff.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, and then because of the tech stack use, keyword tech stack, it is all the technologies used to build or run a system or app. I didn't know tech stack back then, and someone would be like, "What's your tech stack?"
What's your tech stack? Yo, that would catch me all the time. It's like,
what's your tech stack? I'm like, what is
what
that?
What are you saying?
What do you
Yo,
want me
that
to-
one caught me all the time as well.
I remember someone asking me, like this other guy asked me, "So what's your tech stack?" And I'm like, I want to have fun.
Also, why don't they just ask like which
language
or maybe which language do you use, or
because they know. But I think maybe it was
it
a
makes you feel
yeah. Because in my head I was just like, it's like, what's your tech stack?
And again, it speaks to feeling like, yo, I don't know
'cause
these words.
Yeah,
like
I Googled, and then even when I answered him, I was like so scared. Did I say the right thing? Because then I was like, C++,
also, tell me
C sharp.
something. Tell me something like, okay, this is now personal. Yeah. So in JavaScript, like people sometimes want you to, do you have to mention it in your tech stack? Because JavaScript is part of your coding that you do.
I think, yeah, you know JavaScript.
Yeah, but like, I just want to say I'm a C# developer. Is that not enough?
No.
Yeah,
you know C#? Is C# JavaScript?
No, but I use it in there.
No.
And TypeScript I use as part of Angular. What if I say I use Angular to do front end?
But that's
then you must say TypeScript as well. It's part of your text. Yes, they add it as a tech stack in TypeScript.
Oh.
You see, JavaScript is the same. I get to use it in the backend. Why am I saying a C# developer and use a Visual Studio? Obviously, JavaScript is.
I mention everything. Hey,
you see,
look, right? SQL, PLSQL,
MySQL,
Server, Oracle, right, all of them.
That's way.
Right, HTML. Say, you know HTML.
How deep do I go with this answer?
Because I think women, they like package it like so that it's just like it's not a men.
Men
will list you even the useless things. It's just like, I know HTML. Get out of here. Like
CSS text stack.
get like CSS. Come on.
So hey, yeah, that one. All right. Then there's Sandbox. This one I don't use a lot. I haven't heard a lot of people using it. It's a safe testing environment for trying out code without affecting real systems. I haven't heard it a lot.
I think
don't
I've
know.
heard it a lot, but in an AWS term.
Yeah, oh
Yes, the sandboxes,
yes.
you know.
When we learning like lunch and
I used to be confused. Like there's a sandbox everyone can use. I'm like,
yes, and you never know where it is if you
I'm
don't
like,
know what.
there's a sandbox. We'll send a link to the sandbox you guys can practice on. Like sandbox.
Yes, yeah, I don't hear it often, and yeah, like you say, unless we are like in an AWS session where they are teaching us something.
And I've never used that sandbox. I've had like so many guys. I've been studying AWS for the past 4 years.
You know, when I write this year, that's also something I need to put on my.
I'm your backlog. She's been writing also for how long?
Yes, that's why if we have that board, think about it.
We've been studying AWS for how long now?
But at least I've started something. I started something.
No, but when I say we've, I used to work with her. How long have we been studying AWS?
Yeah.
It's been 4 years now, ne?
No, but this is the year. This is the year.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not writing it.
No, I am this year.
I'm
for
not.
real, for real. Because I've also done like a different course, not the one that I want to write.
Not
so I'm
this
going to
year.
write this year.
And look, we'll circle back to
Mina.
Right.
Circle back to this episode.
Another one that we have is single source of truth. It is one place where most accurate and updated information is stored. So sometimes they would call it like a golden source. So this is where you know your trusted information comes from. So yeah. Anyways, those were our corporate
I am
jargon.
the single source of truth.
Wow.
I'm joking.
She's a single source of truth.
I'm
I
joking,
love it
guys.
for her.
But so wait, action items after this. I feel like we are
Action
in a
item. She's also added another thingy. Action
I feel
item.
like I'm in a meeting now.
Yeah. Please let's not do this. So we'll circle back to that next week. We'll come back and have
No,
a
but
daily
that
stand-up.
board is a must. And we need to circle back. And then I'm writing. You're circling back.
Everyone watching and listening this, please hold her accountable.
Yes, please.
Send her DMs if you want.
On the comments, say that.
And ask her how's it going.
How's the exam?
She must give us an ETA, that is an estimated time of.
An ETA, now they use it.
Yeah.
TBC.
To be confirmed, to be confirmed. Ne? Yeah.
Similar to ETA.
So anyways, those were it for us. Those are corporate jargons. I hope that, you've had fun watching this episode. And we hope that you have learned a lot, because we have some of these words we didn't know. We didn't know that you could actually boil an ocean. We hope you don't do that. But other than that, if there's anything you'd like to circle back to? No?
No, I'm
Let's
good.
put a pin on it, ne?
Yeah.
Let's put a pin on it. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time from us, your favorite tech sisters. Until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.